Howdy, lay, howdy. As usual, we're just gonna say howdy when we start up the chat. How y'all doing on a subjective level on this fine day? You know, given that objectively life is not fine, but we're gonna pretend it's fine because we're subjects and we're just gonna be like, subjective. Anyways, moral of the story is let's watch this video because it's really based and it makes me feel like the world's fucked because of how accurate it is.
What brings you in today? Well, Dr. Egg, I've been feeling pretty down. Okay. I wake up, work a meaningless job I don't like, look at stocks go up and down, compulsively watch pornography, and then play video games and watch YouTube until I pass out. So you haven't left your room or stopped staring at your screen until now? I'm still in my room staring at a screen, Doc. Any meaningful relationships? No. Friends? No. Plans for the future? No. I see. So you have what's known as a chemical imbalance. Hey Doc, I'm
A
having
chemical
trouble focusing
imbalance.
on this
I've been
shit
told that
that I
before many
hate for
times.
16 hours a day. Oh dear. Why don't you tell me about this shit that you hate? Well, I'm currently studying for a degree that I hate because I was forced into it by my parents, who I trust implicitly, at the age of 18. Okay, go on. I have no natural interest in what I'm learning about, and instead of doing the inhuman amount of work that it would take to finish my degree, I instead find myself doing useless things like spending time with friends and exercising. Oof, sounds pretty bad. You said it. For some reason, I just can't bring myself to focus. You know, I get this a lot, actually. Wow, I find that hard to believe. So meth then? Yeah, while you were talking, I already filled out the prescription. Hey, Doc.
Meth.
I've been wondering,
I wish I had meth.
is it me that's sick? Is my only hope to scrape off the edges of myself that don't fit neatly into reality? Or should I take that self-same knife and carve a hole in the world that only I can fit in? And who is it that has the authority to tell me that I'm sick? Is it you? Or is it the corporations that make the pills that you all have forced down my throat? So you have what's known as paranoid schizophrenia. This is an ad.
This is an ad.
Wow, it's an ad. Wow, I'm getting paid for this. Does this company want to be associated with this subject matter? I don't know, but it's an ad. I've been using their skincare routine for a month now, and I can vouch that my skin looks and feels pretty. Use this link. Skincare is important, even / especially if you're.
Honestly, though, especially if you're a dude, because women can get laid by being women. Men, if they provide either money or big old dick. 3 big balls. Looking like we playing tennis. You got a big dick. I think you named Dennis. That's a good song. Moral of the story is let's just keep doing our thing. 3 big guys, and they busted my eyes. They eat my ass just like apple pie. So they keep fucking me like this. I might just die. They eat my booty till I cry. I'm not gonna sing anymore because I don't know lyrics. That's the only reason why. These dudes are really hammering away over there. I have a friend who had borderline personality disorder. They're dead now, but
Rain can mean a lot of things. It can mean that it messes up your day, forces you to change your plans. It can also mean that it's a washing away of old things, that perhaps it's making room for new things. And sometimes we have to allow those old things to be washed away and allow the rain to do what it needs to do. And that's
fucking
a
hate this
metaphor for
shit.
many things in our life, like relationships or old and painful and self-criticizing thoughts as well. Embrace new thoughts like the rain. Allow your own rain to wash away the old thoughts and embrace the new ones that are healthier, that help you move forward. So take care, stay dry.
That helped no one, but okay. Sure got him some fucking views or whatever, though. Fuck that guy. I just say shit that sounds poetic, and then I get paid money. Money, 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 money. Let's watch this short and see if it makes me feel better about how horrible people are.
And when we think about animal suffering and animal cruelty, if you ask anyone, are you in favor or against these things? By and large, everyone's going to be against them. And I suppose the question then becomes, well, how does this relate to our lifestyle choices? Can we say that we're against animal suffering whilst paying for products that actually cause the most animal suffering that we humans cause on the planet? I mean, no other industry causes more harm to animals, more death to animals, more suffering to animals than the industrialized agricultural system that we support 3 times
It
a
looks
day.
a
No
style
other
though.
industry
So
contradicts the
whacked out.
basic values we have towards animals than that which we support the most. And there's a certain irony in that, isn't there? Which is, how has this happened? How are we as a people, as a species, as a nation, as a culture, come to this idea that we oppose something that we actually support? And not only support, but support the biggest contributor of. And when we think about animal suffering and animal cruelty, if you ask anyone,
Kind of
are you in
base, but you know, when it comes down to it, probably not gonna fucking even realize the hypocrisy of themselves. So you know, it is what it is. Yes, fuck the pandas. My god. I'm subscribing to this channel right now. I'm already subbed. Okay, thank god. I fucking hate pandas. Pandas are the most useless fucking thing. I've never done a panda rant on this channel. Pandas are the most useless fucking goddamn organism to ever come across on this fucking dying planet. This fucking rock. All they do is roll around, fall off of shit. They don't even know how to fuck. They eat bamboo. You know how many calories bamboo has? It's none. There is no calories in bamboo. You know how many nutritions? There's more nutrients in my fucking foreskin, which was removed as a fucking baby, than there is in fucking bamboo. You may as well chop down on my fucking slight remaining foreskin than on a fucking bamboo stalk, because you're gonna get more nutrients from that than you are from whatever the fuck's in bamboo. These useless ass fucking bears out here calling themselves bears with their fucking bandit ass mask looking faces out here stealing what little remaining nutrients is in bamboo just because they don't know how to fucking eat shit for shat besides what's in front of their goddamn faces. A little invasive ass species practically bamboo is just growing fucking everywhere. Just kidding, it's useful as shit. But when it comes down to it, fuck goddamn pandas. They're useless as shit. We put so much money, so much resources, so much energy into making these little cute fuck faces just roll around off cliffs and shit. Just because we want them to look cute and cool and shit, I guess. I don't fucking know. I hate fucking conservation parties. Conservation is useless as fuck. Anyways, that was my panda rant for today. I love red pandas. Normal pandas can go fuck themselves. End of the story. Back to the regular scheduled program of fuck pandas.
Are you coming up to chill? What's the plan, bro? Everything is awesome when you're a panda.
There are some animals whose entire existence proves that nature isn't about survival of the fittest. It's survival of just barely being good enough. If life was a class, it wouldn't be about passing with straight A's. It'd be about passing off your DNA before you become an F in the chat. And some animals are universally recognized as the remedial students of nature. Cheetahs are the red-headed stepchild of the cat world. Sloths are basically free calories served on a moss blade. And roasting koalas is considered low-hanging fruit only because they happen to share the same IQ. And also because they put the mid in chlamydia. And it seems that everyone can agree that pandas are egregiously bad at pandaing, and that we as a society
Fuck
need to stop
pandas.
being this biracial Winnie the Pooh's crutch and just let nature finish what it's clearly
Let
started.
them go
But
to
are
the
pandas
void.
really that bad? Did we successfully gaslight the barcode bears of the world? Or do pandas really profit off the most OP pretty privileged genjutsu nature's ever seen? To find out, first we gotta lay out all the factors that make the Try to Panda challenge virtually impossible. But before we do that, For that, this video will sponsor problem revolves around the oversized aquatic hamster's gullet is bamboo. Despite clearly being designed with carnivore software, it's the koala problem of building your entire meal plan around something that gives you very little back, which is why pandas can spend up to 16 hours a day eating something they can only digest 17% of. The very definition of injustice is that when you
17%.
Google sloth
That's a
bear, this
fucking
monochromatic
failing grade
trapart
by
vegan doesn't
100.
show up, since their
I've
diet of scarfing
seen
bamboo
ACT
often leaves them with
scores
very
that
little
make
energy
that
for
look
anything
better.
else.
Oh my
So to
god.
accommodate this self-imposed
My
easy
ACT
budget,
score is better. I'm not
pandas
even
developed
try.
relatively smaller sized organs, including, you guessed it, their
Here it's
brains.
only like 30.
And
You can get
something else,
max,
but we'll
but I don't
get to
give a
that.
shit.
But yeah, being a bimbo for bamboo might have literally nerfed their intelligence in the process. And some of you may have asked yourselves why the breathing bamboo purses don't just hibernate, since hibernation is basically power save mode for animals, and if anyone needs to save energy, it's pandas. Well, one, bears technically aren't even true hibernators. But two, even if they were, eating like the vegan teacher's lapdog means pandas are physically incapable of putting on the fat reserves required to hibernate for months at a time without also getting perma-slept to starvation. But honestly, the problems with their diet have low-key been overblown. If being a bamboo junkie was their only issue, they wouldn't be as chronically down bad. At their core, animals have two main goals: food and another F word my mom doesn't like me to say.
Pandas are fucking
We
idiots.
see how they handle absurdly bad at making more pandas. Off rip, their window to reproduce isn't even really a window, it's more like a hairline crack in the windshield. Female pandas ovulate 1 to 3 days out of the entire year. That's only 24 to 72 hours are open for business out of a possible 8,760. And since being bent on bamboo means they eat, sleep, and socialize like a stereotypical Reddit user, finding a possible partner is often equally as difficult for them. Even if he does manage to track a female down, he still has a high risk of fumbling the opportunity because males are apparently illiterate at reading signs.
Me too,
Male
man.
pandas
Me
often
too.
struggle
It's
to
the only thing I
interpret the
relate
signs
to
that a female
pandas.
actually wants to mate. Word. And when you only have hours on the clock, mistakes like that ensure that the only thing getting screwed is the future of your progeny. And even if the female's 100% with it, it's still not a for sure thing. Partly because male pandas struggle through the process of procreation in a way that is almost impressive, but also partly due to the panda's reportedly disproportionately tiny penis. Which is why panda coitus is a lot like trying to
Kind
get a
of relate. No,
quarter-inch
I'm kidding.
USB into a port blind, while also wearing a 200-pound fat suit. Oh, and try without using thumbs. Nature did this obese oppression raccoon 0 favors. Their mating habits are a big reason why the double-stuffed Ursus Oreos are where they're at.
I hate
Pandas
this
and breeding
fucker because I
programs in
relate to
captivity
him.
often
I'm
show
just kidding.
so little interest in
I'm
their
just
literal
joking.
only job that researchers have resorted to showing them videos of pandas mating. Apart from pulling videos from Panda Hub, researchers have also resorted to giving them
Fair
actual
enough.
Viagra. Although you'd need a magnifying glass to see if it's working, because again, the P in panda does not stand for packing. And even though most pandas rely on the grace of God as a wingman, somehow the jihad of life doesn't end once they add new names to the roster. Pandas are some of the worst parents on the planet. You've probably heard that if a panda has twins, one of them is a guaranteed loss, since the mother panda will abandon half her litter and leave that one twin to die. Which is even worse when you consider that grizzly bears will allegedly disown their cubs, but they only do it when there's one, since they'd rather start over with 2 to 4 cubs than put all their hopes and stock in one. The chosen panda cub doesn't get off scot-free either, since the yin-yang colored chonk bears of China have the highest mother-to-baby size ratio of any mammal. To put it in perspective, humans are typically 20 times bigger than their babies. Mother African elephants are typically 45 times heavier. A mama panda is approximately 900 times the size of her newborn baby. And since they don't have pouches like marsupials, that puts it just another way nature set this
Fair enough.
glorified
You know,
cow dribbler up
sometimes
for
you just
failure.
gotta
And
crush
it's
your
not
own
even like
kids. I
domestication
mean,
is an
pandas
option.
are
A good
fucking
reason is
wild.
because despite what the black and white bamboo might tell you, it's still a bear, and a bear is a bear is a bear. And the
Fucking
black
hate
sheep of the
pandas.
bear brotherhood is still liable to absolutely fold as a human. Especially since the one plus of constantly crushing bamboo is a bite force comparable to big cats like lions. In case you thought this plus-size Oreo was sweet, one man nearly lost his whole leg after a giant panda wandered onto his land and crushed his leg
Shit,
like
man.
celery. Then there's the fact that a high-volume, low-efficient
The
diet means the one-man
aggressive
bamboo
super
processing
retards.
plant known as the panda can poop
They're
a healthy
literally just
40
angry
times a
super
day. Of
retards,
course,
guys. I hate them.
living in the chili themselves in fresh manure. So if you want to add a biting, eating, pooping, sewer-smelling dependent to your family, like I always say, you're better off having children. Because there are no tax credits for providing for pandas. In fact, the opposite. Pandas quite literally cost millions of dollars just to keep alive. But mostly that's because giant pandas are leased by the Chinese government at approximately a fat million a year. And if one of those pandas gets knocked up, that'll set you back a cub tax of about 400,000, which is why Currently, only 3 zoos in the US have a biracial bamboo munching beanbag of a bear on display. One of those zoos used to be San Diego. I say used to because one of the consequences of renting pandas is that gives China the ammunition to be petty. I'm not a political channel. I'll never be a political channel. I'm not implying any type of affiliation or bias. I'm
China
just listing two
fucking
things that
sucks
happened. In
ass.
2019, Trump may or may not have fueled a trade war against China. And come May 2019, a mother panda and her son were recalled and sent back to China. Now, you could argue the trade war had nothing to do with it, and this was just the natural end of a panda loan. But 10 years earlier in 2009, Taishan the panda was deported not long after Obama met with the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama is, as far as China is concerned, an op. So my working theory is China uses pandas for diplomacy, but also as a vehicle of petty punishment. That's not really the pandas' fault, but at this point, we might as well hold it against them too. We didn't even mention the fact that pandas
Fuck pandas.
aren't even really pandas. When
They are
zoologist Frederick Cuvier
lies.
first used the word panda in 1825, he was describing the red-headed raccoon we call the red panda. The furry orca known as the giant panda wasn't named until much later, and it only got its name because at the time they thought it had a lot in common with the red panda. Turns out they're not even close to being related, meaning this overgrown zebra
It's a
yogi
lie.
isn't even the original
Everything's a
panda. And the fact that
lie.
its monochrome mugshot shows up first when you type panda and not live action Shifu is one of the biggest injustices of nature. This
The adorablest thing in the
is
planet.
the OG panda,
The
but
best
newspaper-flavored
creature.
cloud-guzzling frost took up just enough space to convince the world otherwise. So obviously pandas have their problems, and you can argue that their best trait is being a luck merchant. There is no other animal that gets carried harder by pretty privilege than the endgame of a sloth bear raccoon orgy. And they're the only creature on Earth with black and white privilege. Because the reason giant pandas are the mascot of the World Wildlife Fund is literally because having a mascot with the same color patterns as 1940s TV saves you a lot of money on ink. Yo, that sounds like a joke, but I'm not even kidding. If pandas were black and yellow or black and brown, they might not have gotten the job. But that aside, consensus is that pandas are so bad at panding that we should just let the flex of China fade into oblivion the way nature intended. But is that really true, or have we just been doing giant pandas incredibly dirty this entire time? First thing to mention is that they're a specialist species, with that specialty being in binging bamboo. Being a specialist rather than a generalist means you can typically tap into a niche nobody else can. But that means they can
Evict
adapt to
them.
changes in their environment. There are only a couple things going wrong away from getting evicted from reality. Having a very particular set of skills might be great if you're Liam Neeson, but it can severely hit, and arguably most intimidating land predator on the planet is a specialist. Polar bears depend almost entirely on sea ice to hunt, and if that goes away, then it's bye-bye ice.
Bye-bye ice
For
bear.
some reason, we don't
Big
honor
sad.
polar bear nearly as much for being dependent on ice as we lampoon pandas for their life choices, especially since it's habitat destruction and fragmentation that really had giant pandas down bad. You see, it's believed the panda bear once had more variety in his diet and was more omnivorous, but likely because there was just so much bamboo everywhere and virtually zero competition for it, eventually they shifted into primarily eating bamboo. It also turns out that the bamboo they eat is high in protein but low in carbs. So despite seeming like that one person that would bring a veggie burger to a cookout, weirdly enough, the giant panda's protein intake is actually close to that of wolves. They're also particular about the part of bamboo they like to eat and when. According to studies on radio-collared pandas, in the summer and spring, they prefer to eat the protein-packed shoots found at higher altitudes. But during autumn and winter, they migrate down into the valley and shift more towards eating bamboo leaves, which are high in vitamin C, along with roots. And they just move from high to low to high again, year in and year out. Something that's clearly worked for them since they've
Fair
been just
enough.
fine like this for thousands of years. So much so that the umami taste receptor, i.e. the one that lets you experience the savory taste of meat, yeah, theirs got turned off. And they even evolved a false thumb for no other reason than to help them hold bamboo. So clearly pandas had a process that worked. The problem is when you fragment the habitat they spent thousands of years in and separate them from the food, the result is less pandas. We love to say pandas are bad at life, but by receding their habitat like a middle-aged hairline, we haven't made living any easier. Also, the whole point I made about pandas being bad at making whoopee, turns out that might just be propaganda, because in a twist, the giant panda's reproductive rate really isn't that much worse than that of American black bears. And black bears, they're doing just fine. In fact, everything I said about pandas having negative riz really only applies to those in captivity. In the wild, female pandas do have a small window for baby making, but that's often after a selection process that involves at least 2 males running fates for her honor, in a process that can last up to and over a week. And we now believe that this process might just be what stimulates ovulation. You can't really replicate that in a zoo, and between that and a constant flow of people, that's probably the biggest reason why pandas in captivity become celibate. Like, be real, if you were forced into an arranged marriage and had to have an audience watch you consummate it, you'd be a little awkward too. There is no bigger indictment than the fact that a zoo in Hong Kong had been trying to hook up 2 pandas for the better part of 10 years. And it wasn't until a certain beer virus of 2020 shut down the zoo to the public that the 2 bears finally got it on. Roommates for 10 years, and all it took was a couple months of privacy for them to fornicate. But even with all the slander, pandas are actually in pretty good shape. And that is a problem. With about 2,000 pandas alive today, pandas were recently demoted off the endangered species list. Yet giant pandas still finesse a bulk of conservation efforts simply because they're
Fuck.
cute. Think about it for a second. Pandas have big eyes, big foreheads, and chonk physique. If they didn't remind us of babies, we wouldn't be this invested in their future. There's like 400 blobfish left in the entire world, and you probably didn't know that because, real talk, nobody's buying their child a plushie that looks like a deflated sunfish fetus. Not to mention the animals that could legitimately destroy entire ecosystems if they go ghost, like bees or certain types of plants. They become an
Fuck the
afterthought because,
bees.
yeah, pretty gets priority. It's like that one gym teacher that ignores actually struggling students to help the attractive girls in class that don't need or ask for it. That's right. Pandas are hot girls.
Pandas
Side
are
note,
literally
why
hot
does it always seem
girls
like
and
the gym
people are
teachers have felonious
pedophiles.
timing?
No
Pandas
difference.
aren't perfect, they're miles away from it, but at the end of the
Just
day,
facts,
we've done
kind
far
of.
more to
I mean,
them
as
than
Rita
for them.
McLeod
But that's going
says.
to do it for this video. Be sure to check out my book for 100 animals that can absolutely fold you like a lawn chair, link in description. Drink water, you need that stuff. Hug your mother,
What's
tell pops
poppin'?
you
We're
appreciate him. Matter of fact, might have to
roasting
make a Father's Day video
pandas.
in the name of equality. But until then,
We're roasting pandas. Fuck pandas and fuck everybody that likes pandas. They're all a bunch of idiots. If you have a friend that likes pandas, disown them. That's the moral of this video so far. Is disown your friends that like pandas. They're waste of oxygen, just like the pandas are. Anyways, we're 21 minutes into this. We're just talking about pandas and how much we hate pandas. Literally waste of space. I can't believe we put so much money into that. There's people literally dying on the planet right now from like suicide, starvation, like robberies, rape, some stuff like that. Like really the most horrible shit. And we're just like, how much money can we dump into saving pandas and growing bamboo? Like generally life makes me just want to just die. Like what is the point? We literally put money into fucking saving pandas. People are dying right now, guys. People are dying right now, and people are probably clicking a button to donate to the WWLF, the World Wildlife Fund, or whatever it's called, World Wildlife Fund. Yeah, WWLF. It's fucking wild. But yeah, we're just doing today. We're just doing things. Yeah. Damn, my tattoos are so sexy. I want to fuck my tattoos. If I was a tattoo, I'd fuck my tattoo. That makes no sense. It doesn't need to make sense. Did the antinatalist informant change his thing to antinatalist, anarchist, atheist? Oh, okay. I have a feeling that's antinatalist informant. What the fuck? I love filthy red. Yes, he is. He is autism. It's okay though. I love him. A little autistic, little fuckface who hates vegans. Love you. I'm such a prick. I don't give a shit though. Remember, guys, if you feel alone, it's because you're weird.
Look, nobody else is going to tell you this, so it's got to be me. You're not an introvert. You're just mentally disturbed. I know. It was a nice little label. You enjoyed it. I
You
know
did.
you did.
I know
You're
you
not an
did.
introvert. It's not normal that you haven't left the house in 1 year. That's not just what introverts do. That's a you problem. Oh, wow. You haven't had any human contact in months. Haha, how quirky. Wow, you're such a great introvert. Haha, just kidding. That's a personality disorder. You have a personality disorder. Oh, you avoid eye contact when people are talking to you. You can't go to parties because you're too socially anxious. Doesn't sound like something you should be incorporating into your identity with a label like introvert. Sounds like problems you need to solve. Sounds like fundamental personality issues that aren't going to get better if you hide them under the label of introvert. Also, real quick, introversion doesn't mean misanthropy. Who the fuck told you that being an introvert means that you hate humanity? You shouldn't hate humanity. You shouldn't foster your identity around hating humanity. It's not healthy. You're using the term introvert as a one-word explanation for all your fucked up psychopathologies. And don't even get me started on the bad extroverts. Half of you introvert motherfuckers are just bad extroverts. Everybody thinks they're an introvert, but statistically, most people are extroverts. What does that tell you? You're not an introvert. You just suck as a person. You suck.
You
Go to
suck.
Our introvert. There's 200,000 members. Go to Our extrovert. It doesn't fucking exist. Look, I know that in this, let's say, climate, it's a lot easier to pretend like you don't actually need social interaction, that we can explain it away with a comfortable label and pretend like we actually prefer to be alone, all the while fundamentally misunderstanding what the term introvert actually means, substituting meeting new people with finding a new podcast to listen to, so that when you listen to it, it almost feels like a new person is speaking to you. Wow, it's so new. But it's not a substitute. It's that thing.
We're making
it's
fun
that
of mental
desperate,
illnesses today. How's it
essential
going?
thing.
Welcome
You
to the
know
club.
you
No, I'm
love
just
it,
kidding.
and
We're
you've been
not. We're
ignoring
not. I
it this
swear.
whole
We're
time
making fun of
because it's
pandas
easy
and that
to
transit.
ignore.
No,
Wait,
come back.
Ah, fuck, I knew this would
We're
happen. This
making
always
fun of
happens. It
mental.
turns out I'm talking to the mirror
Someone
the whole
joins. We're
time.
making fun of
I'm
mental
tired of this
illnesses.
format.
Just
I meant what I
immediately like
said.
leaves. That's hilarious. Okay, I'm gonna make this channel more controversial. Do we talk about? You know what? Deep Prophet did say we should talk about peace. Oh no, I'm just kidding. We're not talking about peace. The neighbors have a bunch of people working in the house, and they're all like Hispanic and like black, and there's a bunch of like fucking Mexican Hispanic music just blaring across the entire like neighborhood, and I love it. It makes me feel like there's a fiesta going on. I just really want to get down. Want to make tacos. Just kidding. That was racist shit. But no, I do want to make tacos though. You may say that's because, hey, Brant, you make beans every single day. Why wouldn't you want to make tacos? It's really part of your thing. I'm gonna say it's because of the mood, and not because of the fact that all I do is eat beans. But when it comes down to it, it's probably just because I only like to eat beans. I don't actually only like to eat beans. I'm just forced to because of my vegan diet, and now it's the only thing that I eat because it's fucking affordable. Moral of the story is weed's expensive. Not really, actually. If you get it on websites, you can get it for like $1 a gram. But weed's expensive, and food's expensive, and yup, beans. Beans are the way, the truth, and the light. I passed out hours ago. Bum bum bum. I'm sadder than you ever know. Bum bum bum. I close my eyes on this sunny day. Say something once, why say it again?
The civilization's crazy train. And yeah,
We're hopping back into it.
so
Look at
there's a
that.
few of these people.
We started out kind of talking about. Thought I just heard a cat. Anyways, started out talking about kind of like anarcho-primitivism and how silly Billy was earlier, I think. Now we're back into it.
They really want to do the back to nature thing. as a way of getting off the civilization's.
I'm gonna be right back. I want to check on Markovius.
Crazy train. And I'm, I don't see nature as a better model of existence. Nature is crazy. All right, that's a crazy train. Um, Animals eating each other, it's a crazy train. I would have no interest in getting on that train. And so this brings up a question that was brought up in the Stickam a conversation the other night that caused all the crap because of the asshole. Um, I, in that conversation, brought up the thought experiment. Posed the question: if you had the power, you were somebody who was standing outside of the planet Earth, and you found the Earth, and you observed it, and you knew some certain things. These are just facts for the purpose of the equation. All right, let's say there's this planet Earth, okay, and you got all these animals, and you know it's a 4 billion years of evolution. You know all the history of it. There's no human intelligence, just animals. Okay, so the highest mammal is an ape. And you also know for a fact that that ape will never evolve into anything else. No animal on the planet will ever evolve a civilization or an intelligence any higher than what exists currently in that great ape. All right, so I posed a question. What would you do? Let's say you had a button in front of you that could just make it go away. Would you press it? Would you be comfortable just walking away and saying, well, that's okay. That's a great system. It's nice that all these living things on this crust of this planet are eating each other, and it's nice that they have all these sensibilities and feelings, and that they torture each other and do all this stuff and whatever because they have an orgasm once in a while. They have this wonderful experience and they chase each other and have to, so they can stick their things into each other and have these orgasms, and they enjoy eating each other every day because, you know, it feeds the cells of their body. And that's the thought experiment. Now, I didn't get any answers, okay? I posed the question and I got no answers. All right, which we could conclude that, yeah, Bill, it's a kind of a tricky question because you really don't want to put yourself in an idiot box and say, oh, yeah, it's a great system. And at the same time, you can't say, hell, I can't blow it up. It's life, right? Life is great. I mean, that's what we've been taught. That's what we know, right? Life is great. You can't, life is great. You can't kill life. No, that'd be horrible. All right, so now let's change the thought experiment a little bit. Let's say the button doesn't kill anything. It doesn't exterminate anything. It just makes it all sterile. Okay, so this generation will be the last generation. And it'll just slowly die out, and all it'll be left was non-feeling organisms. And that's how it'll be left. Just nice green trees, and so it'll still be a pretty place from space. There'll still be an atmosphere and all this little fun stuff, and there'll be plants, and it'll be quiet, just leaves falling and seeds maybe flying through the air, on the wind. But that's it. No consciousness, no animals eating each other, no footprints. Okay, would you press that button to reduce it back to that level? This is we have a built-in affinity for this thing. We are part of it. So of course, it's going to feel natural to us. It's going to feel connected to us. We're going to feel connected to it. We were born of it. But my question is, if we can build ourselves an objective perspective, can we really honestly say this makes sense? Not even that it makes sense, but that it is serving some purpose that justifies the price in terms of suffering endured. And I know some of you don't take suffering very seriously. It doesn't mean anything to you. I mean, it means something to you personally, but it doesn't, you don't think it has an echo. You don't think it has a meaning echo. It just is, and then it's over with, and that's it. I don't know, maybe because you think it's part of some kinetic process that it's not additive, that it doesn't matter how much was paid to build the house. If the house exists, and it's irrelevant how much was paid to build it, kind of a thing. I mean, I just can't, that's not logic I can really understand. So I guess if that's the way you're going to look at it, there's just no point in even asking you the question. But otherwise, people who are just going to try to seriously answer the question, I mean, I want an answer to what exactly do you see in the carnivore living environment, minus this intellect, minus Shakespeare, that justifies life, that makes it purposeful, meaningful, productive? That's the key word, maybe. What makes it productive enough to justify its existence?
Mm. Mm.
Italy are 55% down. Germany's 36%.
Nah, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I adopted my daughter. She's my niece and my daughter, and I'm so glad I did it.
And what a life changer for her.
And then I think years ago I had a debate with a friend. She's like, well, I feel sorry for you because you haven't had any kids. I said, I do have a kid. I adopted my daughter. Well, that's not real. I said, that is real. That is real. Yeah, I adopted my daughter. She's my niece and my daughter, and I'm so glad I did it.
And what a life changer for her.
And then I think years ago I had a debate with a friend. She's like, well, I feel sorry for you because you haven't had any kids. I said, I do have a kid. I adopted my daughter. Well, that's not real. I said, that is real. That is real.
Base. How's it going? We're just big chilling out here, doing. Yeah, we're just doing nothing. But doing nothing is doing something. Because when it comes down to it, inaction is action. And, trolley problem bullshit, So I'm wasting my time a little bit right now. I could be doing something a little bit more useful, but I could be convincing you, viewer, to become an antinatalist. Are you an antinatalist? Do you know what antinatalism is? If you don't know what antinatalism is, it's basically the view that it's wrong to procreate, to have children. If you disagree, I'd love to hear your take on why you disagree. If you agree, then great. Tell me why you're an antinatalist, or don't. Or don't. Take those you chose, or don't, because you left. Fucking hoe. I'm just kidding.